Alright guys, Dwaine Keys, your friendly neighborhood Negro, and I'm back with another video. In today's video guys, I'm going to show you how to make a great crock pot queso dip. This is actually going to be my first recipe using a crock pot. I want to thank Miss Ashanti Lane for suggesting this. If you guys don't know, I'm pretty active with my community that I'm trying to build over here on Good Eats 420. And so I had a giveaway where I said, hey, I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm looking for suggestions of what should be my first crock pot recipe. A lot of people put suggestions in, and I chose Miss Ashanti's suggestion of doing a queso dip. So that's what we're going to do today for today's crock pot recipe. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be a pretty easy one, but it's mighty tasty. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Alright guys, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into this recipe. I already have my crock pot already opened and already cleaned. You can be looking forward to a product review about this crock pot going forward in the future here, but let's go ahead and get into this recipe. The first thing that we want to do with this queso dip is we want to prepare our cheese. I'm going to be using Velvetta right here. This is a 32-ounce block, 2-pound block right here that we're going to be using. I cut them up just to make them easier to melt, so we're going to go ahead and put those in there. There we go. Also, I'm going to be using a can of this Rotel mild diced tomatoes and green chilies to kick it up a notch. We're going to be using a can of this one. I like using the mild rather than the original one. We're also going to use some other stuff too to kick it up here, but I do like using this, so let's go ahead and add that in as well. Alright, now we're going to add in our spices: chili powder, cayenne. As you can see, I like to kick mine up a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with a little spice. Ain't nothing wrong with a little spice. Ain't nothing wrong with a little spice. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with a little spice. A little black pepper. And of course, we're going to put in some can of salt. We're almost done preparing our cheese. That's what we're doing right now. What we're going to add is we're going to add in some can of butter. I want to talk to you guys about the can of butter real quick here. If you guys don't remember, this stick right here, this big stick, I made this one using a mason jar. That's 1120 milligrams right there. This one here is the concentrate can of butter. That's 725 milligrams right here. So whenever you're medicating different dishes, sometimes it's a part of the dish. Like when you're doing cookies, butter is actually part of the dish. Sometimes you're adding something to a dish to medicate it. Butter is not part of this dish, but besides the can of salt, that is how we're going to medicate this. So at this point, we got to decide how many milligrams of THC do we want to put in there. Do we want to do 1120 milligrams with this big piece, this block right here, this stick, or do we want to do the 725 milligram one, which is the concentrate can of butter? You have to decide for each thing that you're cooking, is this part of the dish itself, or is this just the way that we're medicating it? Because we're adding this butter in here to add milligrams of THC to it. So it doesn't matter if it's half a stick or a full stick or whatever the case is. I wouldn't do more than a full stick, but half a stick to a full stick, depending on how much the milligrams are, that's how you want to do it. So if I got a half a stick of butter that's 600 milligrams and I got a full stick right here that's 725, what I'm going to do is, because I want this to be pretty potent, this is just for me, by the way, I'm not making this for anybody else, this is just for me, and I want this to be potent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this big stick right here, the 1120 milligram one, and we're going to go ahead and put it in there as well. Oh yeah. Alright, so we got everything inside of our crock pot that we want as far as getting the cheese together. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this. There we go, make sure it's locked right there. And we're going to go ahead and we want this on high. There we go, so you guys can see that it's on high now. The pressure's on high. And all we got to do now is just hit start. And it's going to be ready to go. So let's hit start. And there you go, you can see it says heat. And so while that's going, we started that. Now we're going to go ahead and start on our sausage. This is not going to be just your average, just regular cheese dip. I want some meat in there as well. So now we're going to prepare our sausage while this starts melting down. And then once we get our sausage browned, then we'll add it in there and it'll go the rest of the way. So let's go ahead and brown up our sausage and get ready to take it to the next level. Here we go, going to the next step. All right guys, so now we're going to brown up our sausage. It's going to go inside of our cheese dip. The main thing that I want to stress with you guys with this is making sure that you cook your sausage thoroughly. You don't want to get sick from not cooking it thoroughly. So we're going to brown up our sausage, and I got some onions right here, half of a white onion that we're going to brown up as well. So let's go ahead and do this right now. Here we go. Let's turn on the pan. I'm going to start with some infused coconut oil. Make sure we really medicate that up. There we go. Ooh, that's enough. Now I'm using some spicy hot pork sausage, but you can use Jimmy Dean or whatever you want to use. I'm using spicy hot because, as you can see, I'm kicking my dip up with the Rotel, with the chili powder, with the cayenne. As you can see, I'm kicking it up. So I'm using a spicy pork sausage, but feel free to use whatever you want to use. And I have half of a white onion right here. Add that in. And we're trying to kick up this cheese dip as much as we can. Use a wooden spoon so you don't mess up your pans. I got brand new pans right here. Don't want to mess them up. So we're gonna, like I said, just make sure that you really brown your sausage. You don't want to get food poisoning from undercooked pork. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and brown this. I'll show you what it looks like in just a second. There we go. All right, I think we're good now. Starting to get that browning that I'm looking for. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. There we go. Very nice. All right, so that's, as you can see, it's browning up nicely. These onions are running down. I think we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and put this inside the crock pot. Here we go. Alright guys, so you can see the cheese and everything that we put inside here is already starting to melt. Let's go ahead and add in our meat. As I said, there's no draining. We're going straight from the pan. So it browned up nicely. You want to make sure it's cooked thoroughly. And I'm using a wooden spoon. Very nice. So let's go ahead and give this a stirring up here. Look at this. We put the whole stick of can of butter in there. 1120 milligrams. All right, so now that we got everything in there, just how we like it, it's looking wonderful. Let's go ahead and put the lid back on. We're gonna put this on high, and this is gonna go for about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm gonna do it for 40 minutes at high. There we go. 40 minutes. High pressure. We got everything in there. That's all we got to do. So we got 40 minutes to chill. I'll let you guys see it whenever it's done. Here we go.
And all that shit ugly. Do me a dab, I ain't drinking no bubbly. Where's my money? I shoot if it's funny. Pour up a four in this drink, now it's muddy. Fuck it one time, then I toss it like rugby. Open this gas up, it's loud, this mustard. Disrespect me and I shoot through your skull. They watching my moves, they take notes and study. Make sure I'm militia and I am the leader. I bought me some lights cause I'm good.
Alright guys, so it's already finished, and as you can hear right there, it's already fully depressurized. So we're gonna open it up and see what we got. There we go. Look at that. Look at that right there. Woo. All right, guys, so all we got to do is plate this up now, and it's ready to go. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you once again to Miss Ashanti Lane for suggesting this video. It came out great, and this is a great recipe. You can do this on the stovetop. You don't need a crock pot to do this, but this is our first crock pot video and it came out fantastic. So Miss Ashanti, thank you very much for all the love and support. I really appreciate you and everybody else that supports the channel. That's it for me, guys. I really appreciate you. You guys be safe. Until next time, peace and good eats.